expressed in this show belong to the person expressing them. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of Rancher or any other entity.
Good morning. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee and Cloud Native, the show that shares news and interesting content related to Kubernetes, Cloud Native, no, I'm kidding, and other nifty technology. My name is Adrian Goins, and I'm excited to be here with you today on Friday, episode 99. 99. That's just crazy. If you're watching live, consider following or subscribing to the channel. And if you're watching a replay, well, then you have audio, and that's great. But please also give the video a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm shares it with other people. Join the free community site. Join the Discord server. There's links to that in all the places where you know how YouTube works. You'll find the links. Live chat happens in Discord with a bot that relays between YouTube and Twitch, so come hang out with us. During the show, it's madness. After the show, it's like the square root of madness. It's still pretty mad. But there's all sorts of channels in Discord where we talk about all sorts of things. And the live chat is, it's where the real action happens during the show. And since it's Friday, Fridays are always special. But let's take a moment and say hello to people. Who do we have today? I could jump back over to the live chat channel. I saw everybody. Hey, Steve Jaguar, hello. Okay, scrolling back. Brendan, welcome back. First time after the new year. It's nice to see you. Hey, if anybody knows where Mac is, tell him we miss him. And I know Nuno's out today because work and stuff. Ian, James, Peter Keach, Wifebot, Wojtek, Cześć, Kai from, where are you? You're on YouTube. Hello. And everybody's talking about my audio. Hello, Duck. Hello, Frank. Hello, Ariel. And Wojtek, yes, it was the start button. I'm not sure why the start button wasn't pressed. But it wasn't. It happens. Okay, Mladen, hello. Leffen. All right, we have lots of people here today. We were talking about immortality before the show. It's interesting, the conversation that happens before the show starts. It's just fun. Okay, and then of course there's the GIFs. Hello. So if I haven't said hello to you, it's because, I can only scroll back so far before people get bored and leave. But hello. We do appreciate having you here. What is today? Today is... today's Friday. So every Friday, if we get 50 people watching live between YouTube and Twitch, I give away a Udemy course to someone in the live chat channel on Discord. This week, we're going to let the winner choose what they want. Udemy's having a sale for another day or so. So your options are Learn DevOps, the complete Kubernetes course, or Kubernetes Certified Application Developer with tests, or Certified Kubernetes Administrator with tests, or Kubernetes for the absolute beginners, because we do get some people who are joining the show these days who don't actually have a lot of Kubernetes experience, and so, yeah, maybe this is good for you. Or, oh my gosh, it's crazy, Docker and Kubernetes, the complete guide. And at that point, I just stopped looking at courses. But honestly, since they're having a sale today, if there's any course that you want, then fine, you win. Just hopefully you're gonna ask for a course that's kind of related to the show. But if you want a course on underwater basket weaving or something, I might still give it to you. Anyway, today it's choose your own course day. So if you want to enter, it's easy. Just join the Discord server. There's a link for that, going back and forth across here. And then join the live chat channel. When Wifebot says we've hit 50 people, Ellie will start the giveaway and pin the message. You click the little ta-da icon under the giveaway to enter, and then Ellie will announce a winner near the end of the show. Cue Hunger Games gifts. May the odds be ever in your favor. Let's get busy. The collector bots have gathered candidates for the show, and Trufflebot has scored them from 1 to 5 coffees, corresponding to a 75 to 100% probability of being interesting. He'll post them one at a time in Discord. I'll load them up. Anyone watching live can rate them in the live voting channel in Discord. And if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you'll see the links as well. Yay, you. The final scores are shown when we move to the next item. Those don't get forwarded to YouTube. Boo me. Anyway, everything is used to rate the show and stuff afterwards. And then I take the community votes and I use them to retrain the machine learning model that chooses content for the show. I don't know why I have to say that every single day. I think it's because it's really cool. And I like talking about it. I spend a lot of time with the machine learning model every single day, mostly being like, why don't you work? Like my biggest fear is that I'm going to go run what's on the show tomorrow? And it's going to be like, nothing. So far, that hasn't happened. All right, jumping over to the live voting channel. First up, we have a very interesting set of guidelines from the United Kingdom government. This popped up as like a side thing for something else, but I've never seen anything like this. I have a bunch of domains. Like I have domains that I use, I have domains that I don't use, I have domains that I hold on to for nostalgic value, just stupid. But, whatever. This is guidance on how to configure domains that I don't use so that it's virtually impossible to use them as the origin of spoofed email. Spam is a problem. And it's like totally obvious. We all know how to configure SPF and DMARC and DKIM so that mail servers accept our messages. And those of us who run our own mail servers have a really hard time with that because they're like, oh, you're not from Google. So, literally, that's how mail servers are. If you've ever talked to a mail server from like Hotmail, that's totally what, look at the error message that they get and they're like, Anyway, it's going to be one of those days. Well, you can totally configure SPF and DMARC and DKIM so that mail servers that pay attention to those things reject mail from those domains. So just go through all your domains that you're not actually using, slap up some please delete me DMARC configuration, and great. And then of course, scrolling down, there's other guidance. Now this is for like .gov.uk domains, but it'll work for any domain because it's the internet. So more information on, how to configure your own stuff. But if you want information on how to make DMARC and DKIM and all that other stuff work, the UK government website's not a good source for that. But they're a great source for how to make it not work. Yay, government. Where's my coffee? Okay, next up we have some information. This came from Michael. Sorry, I didn't note who threw it at me. I'm pretty sure it was from Michael. We are talking about, there it is. We are talking this month about backups, about running backups, about how not to get totally hated on by your wife for deleting her website. Not pointing any fingers. Well, a big component of all of these backup solutions is the volume snapshot functionality within Kubernetes. If you're if you are going to be working with backups in a Kubernetes cluster, pretty much everything is using this now. And it was G8 and 1.20, and I totally have an eyelash in my eye. If I start crying, it's not because of Kubernetes backups. Anyway. So here you go, volume snapshots. Basically, it wires Kubernetes into the CSI for your cloud provider, or hopefully, if you're using something else, it as well. There's a question about the level of support that exists in Longhorn for this. It looks like it's there. I'm going to go talk to the Longhorn people today and figure that out. So those of you who are asking that question, you'll get an answer. But anyway, you can go, poof, make me a snapshot, and it talks to the cloud provider and it snapshots the volumes. And that's really cool. And then you can create new volumes back from those snapshots. And that's also really cool. But be careful because it'll keep all of the snapshots if you tell it to. So if you're like, oh yeah, totally, like good backup retention, let's keep 1 hourly backup for the previous 24 hours, a daily backup for the last 7 days, a weekly backup for the last 4 weeks, and then a monthly backup for the last 12 months, and then like yearly backups for the last 5 years. And that sounds like a great plan until you get your bill and you're like, don't be that guy. So for example, with K10, which I've been working with, I have it doing just a snapshot every hour because I'm going for like the DR effect. It's very unlikely that I'm going to need to restore content from the snapshot from like Tuesday 3 months ago. But what I am doing is I'm exporting the actual artifacts out to an S3 store, which costs a lot less. So K10 has that functionality. I'm just keeping one snapshot and then doing an export. Anyway, this is super cool functionality, and it is well worth your time to understand how it works. Oh, he's not here. Oh, that's sad. Well, okay, we're going to talk about him behind his back. Our very own Nuno Di Carmo is a monster. He was on the show earlier this week with his K3D article from a couple of weeks ago when the show was on pause. And then he just published an article, Falco published his blog article on compiling a custom kernel for WSL2 that supports Falco. I don't know where Nuno gets the time to do all of these things, but holy cow, he's really smart. Like, holy cow. So if you're using WSL2, you want to play with Falco, boom, ta-da. Yeah, let me back up so you can see that. Boom, there you go. Compiling a custom WSL2 kernel for Falco. Oh man, can somebody please put a Rock Me Amadeus GIF up there for me? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to say it. I'm waiting. I want to see a Rock Me Amadeus. Amadeus. Yeah, I can't even say Amadeus. Okay. My arm of my chair is falling off. Yeah! Ooh, Rock Me Amadeus. Thank you. That's actually a really good song. I'm so 80s. I love it. Okay, let me go back and actually vote on that. If this is your first time watching this show, it's always like this. Okay, this next one I actually spent a fair bit of time with, and it's also super cool, except it doesn't work with K3S, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so let's just amalgamate a whole bunch of different things. Docker shim deprecated. No, not that big of a deal. Yay! But okay, it's time to move on. Let's use containerd. Let's figure out how to do build things as part of the whatever. So we talk about Kaneko, we talk about buildkit, we talk about all of this stuff. But actually making those things happen is work. So if I'm just sitting here in my house and I'm like, you know what? I have Docker on my Mac, so I'm just gonna keep going Docker build blah. And it's like, I go and look at Podman. And I'm like, okay, so Podman doesn't really run on a Mac. I know that nothing runs on a Mac. It's like a fake VM, but the Podman install doesn't have a fake VM like Docker does. So I got to run a VM somewhere else and then configure it to do builds remotely. And then how do I get it in the whatever? And it's just work. So I end up going Docker build, right? Because my job as a human being is to just do the simplest thing possible. Because I'm not really out to do more work. Have you seen this? Basically, they have a plugin for kubectl that allows you to go kubectl build. And it takes whatever the context for, you can point it at a specific context, but by default, it takes your kube config that you're pointed at and it just installs a buildkit container out there and then builds stuff out in your Kubernetes cluster and can push it out to registries. It's all of the other stuff. It's everything. It's what you do with Kaneko. It's what you do with buildkit, but they just made it into a single command. And it's great. It's great, except, well, as they even say, so in their example, they're like, yeah, go use Minikube or K3D. Oh, no, except K3D needs a workaround. The workaround that K3D needs is because it utilizes containerd, but it doesn't actually mount the file systems used by containerd in a way that allows child containers to mount those directories with bidirectional propagation. So the workaround is basically to just run kubectl buildkit create -- rootless and actually have it push out to a registry. Suboptimal, you can run a registry in your cluster, but probably, even if you're not doing development and like, the idea behind this is it builds and then it's in the cluster and it can do stuff. But if it's on multiple nodes, it's not actually in the cluster, it's on one node. If you have a one node cluster, well, then that's great. So as soon as you get to multiple nodes, you're gonna end up in a place where you have to actually build and push. So that's a little bit of extra work, and that's just basically what you have to do here anyway. This is also true of K3S, where I spent some time this morning being like, it built, where did it go? It built, where did it go? I'm like, run, and it's like, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it went. It like builds it, and then it vanishes. because of the same thing. K3s puts the containerd sock in a different place. Simply mounting that isn't enough. Bleh. It also appears to have problems with Minikube. They're gonna get it fixed, and then it's gonna be even awesomer. Use it. Use it, use it, use it. I'm still here. I'm just not talking. Sounds weird, right? Me not talking? RKE had an update yesterday. In fact, Rancher had a whole slew of updates that rolled out yesterday. I was in the middle of teaching my intro to Kubernetes class that was like this. It was all like, wah! And I specifically ran a Rancher installation before the class so that it would prime the cache so that when I did the install live, we weren't like, you know. And then I went and did it live, and that's exactly what we were like. Because they rolled out new RKE releases, Rancher 2.5.4, 2.4. something. So update your stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. The end. How we doing on peeps? How many peeps we got? Wife butt, tell me how many peeps we got. 44. Okay, getting there. Oh, we're so close. So close. This one I intentionally moved up the stack. I run 15 items for every day's show, and we generally get through like 8 of them. And then if you watch the tweets, if you don't follow me on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. It's where things happen. Well, that's where I post stuff. Anyway, those go out as, the ones that don't make it on the show go out as espresso shot tweets. And then sometimes there's something that like, I want to share, but I don't want to talk about on the show, so it just gets deprioritized. Anyway, this was one of the ones that wasn't going to make it on the show today because it was like number 12. But I punted it up, moved it up, not punted, promoted it. Because it's just super cool. This guy's continuing to make updates on this. He basically, he took a retro camcorder and, this picture's gonna take a while to load. He took a retro camcorder, ripped it open, and then installed digital technology inside of it so that it becomes just a self-contained recording system. So he's got a Raspberry Pi there. And it's a really fun, crazy project that exists for no reason. Like, you know, you can get those cell phones that are built into like the handset of an old phone, or you can get them as like a Bluetooth headset. So you can walk around and be like, murr, 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 murr. It's the same kind of thing. It doesn't need to exist, but he made it exist anyway by gutting a camcorder. So that's fun. If you happen to have a 90s camcorder laying around, you can do it too. If not, at least go tell him, good job. That's just cool. Retro, 80s. I'm not gonna do the Amadeus thing again. I might. I make no promises. Istio. All my, I don't know, where would we go with that? We're not gonna go. Istio 1.8 now has full support for VMs. So you can now run Istio and connect your containers, your services, and all your cluster stuff to external VMs. Which you've kind of been able to do before, but it required all this hackery. And now they're first-class citizens. It just works. Jimmy Song wrote an article that talks about the history. Come with me on a journey and gather around the campfire, and we will talk about Istio and how it got here over the many, many years. Starting in 1.2 and going on and so forth. It's an interesting article from that regard, but I only really put it on the show to say that, hey, cool. And you're like, why do I care? And he does a good job of explaining that the migration process from VMs to containers has a point, a period where you're running containers and VMs. And if you skip that by just shoving everything into a container, you end up with a worse experience. So to make that middle piece work better, you really want to work with a service mesh that will support VMs. Now, Istio is not the only one that does that. There are others that do. I'm not going to steal their thunder by talking about them. But let's also just take a moment and talk about Tetrate, who are the people that wrote the article that have some other cool, additional, not free stuff, which I'm not going to talk about them a lot, stuff around doing things with Istio. Anyway, so this is what? This is the 1.2, the 0.2. Yeah, so if we scroll down to the bottom here, basically that's where we're at now. So you can run a proxy on your VM, and Istio handles all of the magicalness. Oh my gosh, we're not even gonna have time for a giveaway. How many people? It's like the day to have the giveaway. Like, you can win anything you want. We got to 48. Gotta get to 50. Call your mom. Oh, I didn't think this was gonna make it on the show. Apparently we're going really fast today. This is about building an IoT dashboard. You're like, IoT? Well, you can also apply this to your home lab, because all of the stuff that you have going on where you're like, oh, I need a motion sensor so that I can turn on the cat box. Well, you can build a dashboard for it, and you're going to find yourself in a place where you need a dashboard. I have a dashboard that's part of Node-RED that lives on an iPad 4 in the living room, but because it's all web enabled, we have another old iPad mini in the bedroom, and that allows me to interface with stuff. So it's just nice to walk by during the day. I like routed a lightning cable behind the wall and up into a power over Ethernet thing in the attic that lets the iPad stay charged all the time, because that's a big problem. But it's nice, just walk by and be like, oh, the solar's doing what it's supposed to do. Ah, we're at 100%. Or, the power company went down again and we don't care. It's like a little dopamine hit of happiness every day when I walk by it. So building a dashboard. This is an article that talks about the kinds of things that you might want to consider. Like, do I even need one? Let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. And then goes through, information on types of dashboards that you can create, this sort of thing. Something just beeped at me. Oh, boom, there we go. Okay, we've got 7 minutes. We'll do a 6-minute giveaway. Thanks to everybody's mom for joining into the show. Hi, moms. All right, the giveaway is up and running, and I see that all of you are finding the ta-da icon. If you're late to the show, join the live chat channel in Discord, and you have an opportunity today to win one of these 5 beautiful Udemy courses. We need like the Price is Right thing. Something. Anyway, building an IoT dashboard. This goes into the various types of network communication, going further than just like home automation type dashboard stuff. LoRaWAN, what protocols are you interested in and stuff. And then what platforms could you use to build a dashboard? Open source and paid things. There we go, Node-RED, my personal favorite. So if you're new to the home lab universe or new to the home automation smart home universe and you're trying to do things yourself and not be dependent on big cloud providers so that your vacuum doesn't work when the internet's down, build yourself a dashboard, because dashboards are cool. Yay, Price is Right. Thank you, Duck. Dude, I used to watch that show when I was a kid. When it's like summer vacation and there's actually nothing to do and you're stupidly bored and your mom and dad are at work, and it's like, well, I could either burn the house down or just watch stupid television shows and eat Cheetos. Most of the time I went for the eating Cheetos part. You think I'm kidding. Anyway. Okay, we got maybe time for one more before we have to do the tool of the day. Ah, yeah, FaunaDB. So y'all know I'm inundated with serverless stuff now because the ML model is like, oh, I heard you like some serverless, bro. Here's some serverless. I'm not going to run FaunaDB because even though I just converted all of everything that runs the show into an ORM with SQL Alchemy, it's all in MySQL now. And this is not MySQL compatible, and I don't feel like changing it out because I'm not going to get the kind of benefit for what I'm doing. However, FaunaDB is worth talking about as a serverless database. That's an ideal choice for serverless applications because it does auto scaling, pay for what you use billing, and so on and so forth. It tries to solve the problem that Amazon's Aurora serverless has, which is you can only talk to it from the same VPC. Hello, lock-in. So it's one of the many solutions that are out there, and this article shows you how to get started with it. That's it. I haven't used it. No praise, no opinion on it. It talks GraphQL. They've got their own SQL thing. You know, you can do all of your modeling of your objects and your relationships and your stuff and your whatever. It's a serverless database. Really, any database is probably appropriate for serverless. But like the auto scaling and the functionality of that to scale with your workloads, all the benefits that serverless have. Yeah. Oh, today's tool of the day is... Today's tool of the day is good. Today's show had an average rating of 4 coffees. That's good. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody. Oh, okay, whatever. I was trying to tell the viewers on YouTube and Twitch who are not in Discord about the various, like, oh, the community rated it that. I forgot. I'm sorry. Today's tool of the day didn't get a thing. I just forget. I get to the end of the show. I'm like, oh, what? Stinger transitions? Nah, we don't need them. Today's tool of the day is Gimlet. Gimlet's cool. So if you want to get started with GitOps and you're like, oh, do I really want to, like, it's back to the thing of like, do I want to do all this work? Do I want to go deploy Argo and like figure out how to do the secrets and blah. What first caught my attention with Gimlet was deploying your app to Kubernetes without the boilerplate. But you can use Gimlet as a complete GitOps solution, a partial GitOps solution. It's like a GitOps buffet. Like if you just want some salad, cool. But if you want to go back for seconds, you want to heap your plate up with like the mahi-mahi and the hummus and the brownie, cool. Like they'll feed you as much GitOps as you want. But let's just look at deploying your app to Kubernetes without the boilerplate. So you're there, you've built a thing, it's time to go and deploy it. And now you're like, crap, I gotta like write some manifests and write a Docker file and like make a secret. And I just want my app to run. Okay, where do you get your YAML from? Well, come on, let's all admit, we copy it. Like they straight up call it out. So if you need to extend it with new features, then you copy various snippets into it. At some point, you start copying from manifests that you had before. And while it's okay, we only do that because we're looking for a shortcut. Well, they give you, apparently there's this cool chart called OneChart. Okay, they talk about Helm. We know what Helm is. There's this cool chart called OneChart that's like a Helm chart template chart thing. And they plug into that. They plug into that where you can go Gimlet chart configure OneChart. And it's like, okay. And then it opens up a browser window where you can just start filling in values. So let's say, you know, my app is going to be Monachus Rancher Demo, and it's the latest tag because I suck. And it's on 8080. And resources, okay, fine. And it has a health check on / great. And environment variable, let's just add one here really quick of cow color equals yellow. If you've ever been in one of my classes, you know we have a winner. We'll talk about the winner in a second. Then you know you've seen these. Sealed secrets, it's got support for all of these things, right? And then when you're done with all of this, all you do is just close the window and, whoops, that's not the button I want. And back over here, it prints out all the values.yaml. And then the documentation shows how you can go from here. And basically you can just, in no time at all, turn your app into a Helm chart. And then use that, because Helm charts are one of the things that all GitOps systems understand. I'll let you go and read the docs on how to do more with it. It's sweet. It's sweet. The GitOps buffet. So that, my friends, is Gimlet. Who won? Who won? Who won? Who won? Stack Clash! Dun, 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 dun. Cool. I will reach out to you after the show and we will get you whatever course training you want. Within reason. Underwater basket weaving. All good. All good. I'm sure that, you know, there's a job somewhere for that. Okay, well, that's actually all well timed and stuff. That puts us at the top of the hour, mostly. How did you guys rate that? The community rated it 5 copies as well. Sweet. Yeah, Gimlet. I think Gimlet's really cool. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Links to everything I talk about on the show go up in the free community site at community.cncn.io after the show ends. Come join us. Community members get early access to links, video replay, and other exclusive content. It's free to join. Community's growing every day. If you have something you would like me to consider for the show, post it in the community site, post it in the show's suggestions channel, ping me on Discord, ping me on Twitter. Just make sure I respond because I'm this hyper all day long. And well, yeah, if we want to get it on the show, just make sure I acknowledge. Don't just fire your packets out into the dark. I am not UDP. There you go. I'm TCP. Have a great day, everyone. Keep learning. Have a safe weekend. I will see you in the next show. Stay caffeinated.